preach. We have a habit and a tendency to let other teams control the tempo. And my big thing has been we're too good of a team to let other teams control the tempo. And in the first half, they controlled the tempo. And when they controlled the tempo, they were dominating. They were out physical. They were getting more rebounds. They were playing better defense. So we just felt like we were chasing our own tail the whole entire first half. Things through. We made some adjustments, and I flat out said to them, "You got to take this game back and control the tempo." And then in the third quarter, it really felt like we stunned them in the third quarter because they weren't expecting that. I just need a full game now from all of my girls. But the change was we took over the tempo, we got more physical, we finally worked together on team defense, and we were doing the rebounding we had been doing leading up to that, and it changed the game and turned it around. We lost a little bit of IQ at the end. That cost us the game, but that's teachable stuff, so I'm okay with that.
Season when we kind of have a chance to play a couple super fast teams, it would be a different scenario. I think that we'd be able to kind of adapt more and just be able to, the outcome would be better for us. But I think that it was good to kind of do that and learn to be able to make those choices in the end of a game, especially in a tight game on our own, and kind of raise our IQ a bit.
Honestly, I think even now, or like maybe a week from now, we would be set to beat them because I think we know everything about them that we would need to, and it's not even just about what they can do, it's about what we can do now, and we have a higher IQ coming out of that game. So I think definitely now and we could beat them.
Just like having that under our belt, like a game situation where I think it was a 3-point game. There wasn't a lot of time left. We kind of had to think on the fly of what we had to do. And obviously it didn't work out for us, but I think we can use that because we will have those closer games coming up in the season, especially like the next couple games will be a lot closer. So I think just having the experience of having like a clutch situation and having to work that out will definitely help us in the future.
Yeah, I think we could definitely, like, being in situations like that, we can always learn from it and just know that we have to be better next time and just execute.
I think that a big part of what we do at practice is the mental things and like situational things. So each time we practice stuff like that, or even if it's in a different situation, but practicing that stuff, we get better with it. So I think next time if we're in that same situation, we have a better shot and a better chance of winning that game.
I feel like we would have been better just figuring out the situational things because there were small moments that led to bigger things, and I feel like we would have figured out what those small moments would have meant bigger in the grand scheme of the whole game, to just fix them and tweak them, and not have it be a single person or a single play that just defined the whole game. So I think we would have figured out more if we played them. If we were to play them again, I feel like we would have beat them the second time.
I think we got from it exactly what we needed. That Bishop Guertin game, they were marketed correctly as advertised. They were a very solid team. It took us a half to figure them out. So we were trailing a bit, but we did a good job of recognizing and making adjustments. And then we were right back in it. We take a loss in that game, but I take the loss because I want the lessons. I think the loss and the lessons in that particular situation is better than any win, because it's a game that matters. It's a game that doesn't count. So I think that ending and how we played in the end, a few of the errors we made as a collective whole, I think we gained some wisdom from that. I think that was what we needed. And then we followed up with 2 really solid games against outside opponents, and the girls just, from those lessons, kind of took off. And I thought the last 2 games were really solid. So I think there were a lot of lessons and a lot of just good play, good minutes for everybody, and some confidence building from the tournament. So I appreciate that holiday tournament. I think John does a great job of Londonderry to bring in some real good competition. So.
I think it's definitely good now that we get back into the routine of things, kind of just to like get us into the groove for the rest of the season and how it's going to play out. Like we'll have this many games per week. It'll kind of be like over and over the same thing. We'll have like our certain practice time, things like that, just kind of getting set on everything.
I think it benefits us a lot. I love playing. I like having to go to school and then like everybody's like, oh, how'd your game go? And they ask you. I love that aspect, and it's like a nice, because they don't see what goes in behind it. So like just that and like the practice, and then midterms coming up. So it's going to be a different schedule coming up in like 2 weeks here now. So it's going to be a different flow, but since this is my 4th year doing it, I feel like it's better. It's easier to just like know what's coming. For the freshmen, God bless, because I don't know how they're gonna fare well during midterms and practice and games and stuff. So I feel like we all just know, the majority of the upperclassmen know what they're doing and know like what to expect.
Really helpful to like be in a routine. I mean, either way, we're always make sure we're prepared in like some way or another. And during the week, like we didn't have late practices. Like we always had early practices to like make sure like we got our things done, and we weren't just like lazing around all day and then coming to practice. Like no, we want to be working hard at practice and like giving all our energy towards it. But yeah, I do think it's good to have a routine and just know like what we're going to be looking at for the next couple weeks.
It's nice to have a routine now, especially because the break can be challenging to just like, because you're kind of out of the routine. We don't have any games. We had a few days off of practice, so it's definitely nice to have a routine now where we're not really going to be missing any days of practice and we could just go right into the games.
I think that's very helpful, especially like looking at who we have between now and break. We've got a lot of good teams coming up. It's going to be a challenge for us. But having that like stability of knowing you go to school and then to practice and knowing what time is a good time to eat and all that stuff, I think is going to really help us with our focus and our level of play.
I think the routine is definitely important, and the regular routine feels good for me. I know the first week back it was a rough change from morning practices to night practices, but I do thoroughly enjoy having. I really like a routine, so I like that our routine's going to be the same for the next couple months, and I think that I don't know, I just really like this kind of setup better.
This is a very strange concept for me because for my 11-year career as a varsity coach, BG has been BG. And the irony of the whole thing is you could know exactly what they were going to do and you could game plan all you want and they were still gonna get you. So this is a weird concept for me, but I think what you're just looking at is a young team. I think they're talented, but I think they're young and they're figuring some things out. I think Liv's doing a good job with them, and I think what you see is they can lose to a Goffstown and then 2 weeks later go and beat that same team. So the talent is there. I think it's just even BG trying to figure out BG's new identity. So until they prove me wrong, I approach Friday like it's BG, because in my head it is BG. And I don't think you should take any team lightly regardless of where they stand or what their position is. But I think it's a team that's growing and learning, and that can be a dangerous team, so that's not someone you should take lightly.
They're going to come out fast and aggressive. I mean, we kind of like have a target on our back at all times just because we're Pinkerton. Like, everybody wants to beat us. It's just how it is. You know, it's definitely a very different team. They lost a lot of players last year. They've had a couple transfers this year. So they're probably going to look completely different, but I have a feeling it's still going to be that same style of play that they always have. So we just got to be ready for it.
Even though it's not the same team, not the same rivalry, some of the girls, like actually all of the girls haven't been around to experience this competition, and they have a new coach and everything, but they know it's Pinkerton. They know that like they can see our record, they can see some of our games, they know what to compete with, and I think they're going to come in strong and try and slow us down.
BG always plays fast. I expect it to be a fast game. I expect them to press. I expect it to be high intensity. Like we've said in the past, everybody wants to beat Pinkerton, so I think the level of intensity in the game is going to always be high, and I think that they're just always typically a fast program, and I think that it'll kind of translate even with a new kind of build on their team. I think it'll still be the same.
It's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a good one to watch. It's going to be all out war because when people play Pinkerton, it's their best. It's the game that they work the hardest on. They want to play the best against. So it's still going to be a very challenging team, regardless if it's not the same as it hasn't been in years past. But it's going to be definitely a very well played game.
Well, obviously they have like a whole new team, a whole new coach, but I think they're still gonna have that same BG aggressiveness. So definitely can't take them lightly at all. They're definitely gonna come at us because they know that, again, like I feel like when teams see Pinkerton, they kind of just give it their all. So yeah, I think it'll be a good game. They definitely will play fast, and we just kind of have to dictate the pace of the game for ourselves, and then I think that'll help us win.
Obviously, the BG versus Pinkerton has always been like a big thing, but I think this year's our year.
kind of on a bad run where we just weren't really running an offense. We were kind of forcing shots, not getting back on defense fast enough. Like, we would take a shot and then it would lead to a transition layup for them just because we weren't getting back and we were taking the wrong shots. But I think in the second half, after we had a little halftime talk as a team, I think we kind of realized, like, let's run our offense, let's not let them speed us up, and let's play our game, and that's kind of when we took off.
Credit to them, they're good shooters, and they were fearless. So when they had a shot, they took it, and they were making them. And there was, like, defensively, we were doing an all right job of getting out on them, but they were just hitting shots. And offensively, we struggled a little bit. So their increased offensive production and our, like, slowing down definitely accounted for that.
I think a lot of it was just ball movement and not that we were being selfish, but just we weren't taking the right shots and a lot of our shots weren't falling. And then on the defensive end, I think we just weren't being aggressive enough and we were leaving the help side, or we weren't being in help side. So I think that was one of the big issues.
I think it's kind of going back to what I feel like we say every time everybody wants to beat Pinkerton. And I think that BG also has a reputation of being very, very good, and they want to uphold that reputation. And kind of that matchup is always a highly anticipated matchup throughout the season of just two good teams able to play each other. And I think that that is what kind of allowed for the...
I feel like we got up and then we were on this somewhat of a kick or like a high. We were just like, oh, we're doing good, we're doing great, we're doing it. And then we like started to like not ease off, but we were started to get more laxed on defense. And that's when Busk, like, after the first quarter, she was like, keep your head in the game, like it's not over. We still have a whole another half and the whole another quarter. So I just really feel like we started to like relax ourselves because we saw what we could do against them. But then we picked it back up. We were like, okay, let's focus and let's get back to what we need to do.
They never let up defensively, and I think we kind of got complacent on the offensive end. Like, we were kind of just standing around, not really moving. So I think once that happened, they kind of shifted the momentum back their way. So I think going into halftime, we definitely really talked about making sure we're swinging the ball, and also a lot of our baskets in the first quarter were in transition too. So we were like, let's just stick to what's working, keep getting out in transition, and then in the second half, once we made that adjustment, we were able to get out in transition and score a lot in that area. So I think that helped us a lot.
Working really hard to allow for my team to be the experienced team I know they are, and I'm working very hard to allow them to be the player-driven team I want them to be. So I'm trying to not step in as much as I had to last year. So I'm learning to ride the wave. That is a fantastic first quarter, a not so fantastic second quarter. a calm yet assertive discussion at halftime, letting them know what they need to do, no yelling, just this is what we need to do better, this is what we should be doing, and letting them take off and do that. I think that was it, that narrates the entire game. Our goal was to start strong, we did. We got a little complacent in the second, which we have to work on. We know we're talented. Not cocky, we know we're talented, and we get a good enough lead, you start to see us shift away from the things that make us really good and what brings our talent together. So it was just a halftime speech of, we're really talented. We probably have one of the most prolific offenses in the state with what we can offer. I mean, all 5 of my starters can get you double digits. So we just got to find each other and not panic and get away from the teams. Don't let them linger. And BG's a good enough team to linger. Like I'm not sure anybody wants to see them in the playoffs by the end of this season. They're a good enough team, but it's the idea of allowing my girls to grow, not hitting the panic button in a way that makes me seem angry at them. Just calm conversations and let the players take over. And I thought we had a player-driven team in that second half. They looked for each other. They moved the ball. They played. They locked in on defense, and it turned into a 30-point win. I mean, that's pretty impressive to be up by 2 and then win by 30.